Oh, zoom it out. Looking quite dapper. Most people would say not. So, the struggles of trying to upload these videos. Man, let me tell you. Recorded a video yesterday. It was about a week behind. And it was sideways. Like this. Or like this. And I'm like, oh no. I need to be like this. So now I'm going to record it again. So this is an upload season review. Season 3, episode 12, Breaking Bad. It's entitled Half Measures. So, this episode starts out with something I think is very interesting. It starts off with a negotiation between Mr. and Mrs. White. Now, they're trying to get this thing off my eye. I have to look in the mirror. I hope it's not a sieve or anything. Oh, great. It's raining outside. Thunderstorms with the sun out. It's not supposed to be like this. Anyway, so it starts off with a negotiation between Mr. White and Mrs. White. The reason I think it's interesting is because Mr. White's bargaining basically to have some type of relationship with his kids and try to get back into the house. She's bargaining. Her standpoint is, I want to run your money laundering. So it's like, what? Okay, it's interesting. So they come to agreement on that, which I thought was pretty funny. I mean, you kind of get shocked by the subject matter, but it seems like, but you can understand it, because I know plenty of people have had to negotiate like this in their own lives. So I can see the connection right there. Now, I guess I could talk about. No, I should talk about how good of a job the writers have done at creating this setting where everything's connected. They make the world really small in this setting where everything's connected. So in a previous episode, Pinkman falls for a young lady in rehab, which just so happens her nephew is the little kid who shot his best friend. He's stewing. He's pretty mad about that, but he doesn't want to take revenge on a little kid. He wants to take revenge on the two guys who set the little kid up to do that. Now, I will get this out of the way. This is one of the instances where TV magic or movies thought process comes into play. You have the big boss, El Jefe, if you will, king of everything, distribution, where all that stuff. He's over everybody. Somehow he takes time out his day, and mind you, he has a clear-cut image to uphold, and he wouldn't even waste his time rubbing shoulders with these people. He somehow sets up a meeting where he meets Mr. White, Pinkman, which are his manufacturers, and two guys on the street corner that Pinkman has a problem with. They just all happen to know it. They all not know each other. They all happen to be working for the same guy, and his hitman, if you will, or his cleaner. There's no way that all these guys would be in a room together in real life. I just don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong, because I'm not a drug dealer. I'm not in that world. I'm not about that life. Got a lot of energy today. I don't know why. I got a lot of sleep last night. That's why. But all I'm saying is, I don't think that would ever happen in real life. Maybe it did. I mean, so I've been told that the craziest things are usually the truth. But I just don't think that's the truth. He wants to try and distance himself from all parts of that operation as much as he possibly can, so he can't be connected to it, so he can stay free. That's just me. Now I want to go on to Hank, the brother-in-law. He's still in the hospital, and he's still being stubborn or holding on to his manhood, I guess. I mean, but I can see his point of view. He doesn't want to leave the hospital in a wheelchair. He wants to leave the hospital walking, but it's really, really, really difficult to learn how to walk again. He wants to live his life where he didn't let any obstacles stop him from didn't let any obstacles get in his way, which is understandable. I can agree with that. But his wife has pretty much been pleading with him, and it's not working. She's tried a lot of different. She went down a lot of different avenues to try and get him out of the hospital. But she said, "You know what? I got one trick up my sleeve. One more trick up my sleeve." She says, "Look, you know what? I'm going to give you a hand job, and if I can get you off, we leave. And if I don't, you can stay in here, because Mr. Happy doesn't work down there because of all the damage. Mr. Happy doesn't work." But he's like, "You know what?" He's like, "Hey, you know what? Bet, let's do it. There's no way it's going to work." But guess what? That's his wife. Not only is his wife, it's somebody he's completely head over heels for, and you think she's not going to be able to win you over with a little hand job? Come on, dude. Of course, she wins. But the funniest part about it is there's the build up, and then there's like the act of it happening, and then there's the aftermath. And the aftermath is him being pushed out the hospital with a look of defeat on his face. He can't. Come on, man. So it is hilarious. It is hilarious. I'm trying to think what else happens. Yes, so I know I'm going kind of fast, but I want to get it out of my system. I've done this video a couple times, and I just want to get this one over with. So Pinkman is dead set on, after that little meeting they had, where it's like, "Hey, whatever you're planning on doing, don't do it. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear about that anymore." Pinkman is still dead set on doing it, and he breaks his sobriety. And this is the end of the episode. He crushes up some product and toots it up his nose and pulls out a handgun and starts to approach these two guys. And at that point, he's lost doesn't care anymore. But out of nowhere, Mr. White runs the two guys over, gets out, picks up one of the guys' handguns, and puts like 2 bullets in him. And I'm just like, what is going on? I'm so confused right now. But that's what made this episode so great, because I don't think anybody was expecting that. It's like, were you expecting that? I wasn't. Maybe I'm a little bit over animated today. I don't know. Why am I critiquing myself while I'm making a video? I don't know. But yeah, I was just like, wow, was not expecting that. Wow. I'm almost forgetting. I was excited to let that out, but I think I skipped over one of the better parts of this episode. It's before any of this happens, it's Mr. White tries to make up some type of plan to stop Pinkman in his tracks, but he gets a visit from the hitman. He's telling, he tries to be polite and have small talk with Mr. White, but Mr. White's not having it. So he's like, "Oh, okay, I see where you're coming from. I see what time you're on. So let's just get down to business." So he sits him down. He starts telling him a story about when he was a police officer and its significance towards the current events, of course. But while he's doing it, he's saying it in such a cold voice, and half his face is covered with in the dark while he's saying it. And he's sitting there, and he's really stoic in his delivery, which makes it even better. And I think Mr. White is completely in the dark when the camera turns to him, or partially. Well, no, completely in the dark, and his backdrop is black, which is, I think, is saying he's sitting there basically listening, taking in the information, but he's not, I don't feel like he's physically present while he's listening to it. That's how cold and chilling this guy's story is. It's not to say that it's like full of gore, but it's just his delivery that sells it. And when he comes to the end of it, Mr. White, of course, gives his response, and half his face is covered in dark now when he's saying it, which means I'm physically present again, but not entirely, I guess. That's just my opinion on it. It has to be one of the best scenes I've seen. Well, actually, this is number 2. This is the second. It's a toss-up, really, at this point. But this is one of the... I've only seen 2 scenes. I've only seen another scene in this series that can compare to this one. This was a great episode, and I can't wait to see the next episode.